display of Luke 12:11-12 talk I've ever seen. Be not anxious what you are to say when you are brought before the authorities. The Holy Spirit will fill your heart with what you are to say. That's what I just saw. I just want to tell your listeners that we're going into some pretty rocky waters here. We don't know how this is going to turn out. If Donald Trump is successful in this bid to get back into office, we're going to have some very unhappy people in our lives. But if he does not, we are going to be left with holding the bag of a fraud, and we have got to get to the bottom of this. You know, Sebastian, I spent 4 years of my life unwinding a fraud that was perpetrated against me that probably took the fraudster something like 40 minutes to think up. And it cost me a lot, but we have got to understand what is taking place in our country. And I just want to urge all of your viewers, do not unsee what you have seen. What we've just seen in the last 3 weeks follows on with everything we've seen for the last 4 or 5 years, and certainly in this year, 2020. That's one of the reasons why it seems so obvious to us.
No, you're absolutely right. We mustn't unsee what we have seen, and you're so right. You know, I'm sure your personal
excuse me, we're not at the questions
exactly
at this point. My name is Jenna Ellis, and I'm the senior legal advisor.
When bad things are done, they can happen in a moment. The people who do them don't have to do long preparations, but undoing it and proving the malintent, especially by the standards of a court of law, can take not weeks, not months. In some cases, it can take absolutely years. So, Marty, thank you for your call. It truly, I think you're right.
My name is Jenna Ellis, and I'm the senior legal advisor to the Trump campaign, and I'd like to just explain now where we've been and where we're at and what you can expect from this process. So what you have heard, I'm sure, in the fake newspapers tomorrow will be one of two things.
I was a little bit surprised. Sidney looked a little bit nervous up there today, that hard-bitten pro that she is. I don't know what it was.
Basically an opening
Something happened when Jenna Ellis stepped up to the podium, and it was
when we get to court to actually have a full trial on the merits, to actually show this evidence in court and prove our case. This is not a Law and Order episode where everything is neatly wrapped up in 60 minutes.
I'm Sebastian Walker. This is America First on the Salem Radio Network, broadcasting across the nation on hundreds of stations to millions.
Trials take time. Putting on evidence takes time. This is basically an opening statement so the American people can understand what the networks have been hiding and what they refuse to cover, because all of your fake news headlines are dancing around the merits of this case and are trying to delegitimize what we are doing here. Let me be very clear that our objective is to make sure to preserve and protect election integrity. President Trump has been saying from day one that this is about maintaining free and fair elections in this country. It is not about overturning an outcome. It is about making sure that election integrity is preserved, and every American should want that. If every American is not on board with that, you have to ask yourself why. And if your fake news network is not covering this or allowing you to cover it fairly and accurately, you should ask yourself why. This is absolutely a legitimate legal basis. We have been asked to provide an entire case that generally would take years in civil litigation. I've been a prosecutor. I have tried cases with far simpler facts. One thing happened in a matter of minutes, and it still takes days. And we go through a jury process. This is the court of public opinion right now. We are not trying our case in the court of public opinion, because if we were, we would get unbiased jurors. I would strike 99% of you from the jury, and I would be allowed to because of the fake news coverage you provide. You are not unbiased jurors. And until you step out of your role as a journalist and actually go into a courtroom and you are a judge on a bench that has sworn an oath to be unbiased in our separation of powers, then your opinion does not matter. The facts matter, the truth matters, and if you are fair reporters, you will cover that fairly and appropriately, and you will allow coverage of our media team here and our legal team. That is absolutely shocking that all you cover are around the margins And I've seen all of you taking pictures right now, and I can anticipate what your headlines are going to be. If you are not willing to talk about the evidence that has been presented, then that is absolutely unacceptable for journalistic standards. This is an opening statement. This is something where we have told you what the evidence will show, and we have given you a brief description. That happens in a courtroom all the time, where that's not the fact-finding process